G'day everybody, welcome back to the Brother Half. We are here to discuss our beta review. We're our second week where we've done the playthrough. We've just spent all weekend again playing this game. I'm loving it. I just can't put it down. I refuse to play anything else. Ash is also he's my partner in crime. We are the Avengers, the Brother Half Avengers. So we've been playing it non-stop for 2 weekends now. We've been playing the same characters, same missions. So for us, we've got a few concerns that we want to bring up, and so we're going to talk about what we love, what we don't love, some of our concerns, and plus I've got a few things that I'm going to drop on Ash that he hasn't heard yet. So we'll get a reaction there, but. Welcome, Ash.
G'day, guys.
Are you ready to get into it?
I am.
All right. Again, so second week in a row, we played the beta non-stop.
We did.
How did you enjoy your second week? Did you enjoy the second week? And if so, why?
I found I played it a lot less this week, and I don't know particularly why. I think it may just be the replayability of the beta. We put so much time into it last weekend. We really pushed. I know I pushed through as Iron Man, got him to like one of the higher levels at that time. I started playing a little bit of Miss Marvel this week. So I tried to wrap my head around another character, but I just found that doing the same missions over and over, it did become a bit repetitive. However, I do understand this is only a beta. I'm not one of these people that are going to turn around and say base the whole game and what it could potentially be just because of, there's only a limited amount of missions in the beta. Yeah. But still really enjoy the game. Still looking forward to seeing what they have to offer when it hits release. But at this present moment, I just feel that until the game gets maybe a week off release, which is not far away, I'll probably find next week I'll take it pretty easy on the beta, to be honest.
Yeah, that's. I think I'll do the same thing. I'm ready for the main game to come out now. I think I did have some issues with the beta. It crashed on me a lot, and it didn't matter where or when. I can't even tell you an exact spot, but the beta was it did crash me out a few times mid fight. Was pretty much.
I was there. I saw it. I heard you raging through the microphone saying you got kicked.
Yeah, mid fight, it just glitch out and it just stopped. So that kind of, I think by the time we got to about the Monday, I was a bit over it, and I didn't really enjoy playing it after that. What are your concerns about the game going forward from what you've played from the beta?
So, I think we discussed this a little bit. We touched on it the last time we were doing a live stream, but I find the one concerning thing for me, I guess the most concerning thing is the replayability of this game and just how much content we're really going to get given once it gets released. I'm hoping that, there's quite an intense and quite lengthy solo campaign. I'd like to think that's, it's not just going to be, an 8-hour mission or something, and then it's straight into multiplayer, and that's limited. I hope they give us enough. And to the replayability point, I hope that they do something maybe loot related with the gear that keeps you going back again and again and again, just trying to better yourself. And the point of bettering yourself in the end is for a purpose and for a point, not just constantly grinding like in a lot of these other kind of games where you just find yourself going back and forth doing the same thing over and over. I just hope that they keep it interesting, and I hope they keep bringing out DLC frequently, and hopefully with that DLC you'll get new characters, and I'm hoping that when those characters are released that they may give them a solo campaign where you play through maybe a couple of missions through them in like a story mode, and then once you've completed that, you get to unlock them. It keeps you going back and wanting to play. You're getting more content, not just a character and a skin potentially that you get to use.
The early talks about the DLC and the new characters that we're going to be getting are definitely where they'll be getting their own story arc and how they fit into A Day and ramifications of that. So Hawkeye has been confirmed as having his own sort of not so much a main storyline, but a mini storyline to introduce him into introduce him into the Avengers and possibly how he matches up and catches up with them and all that kind of stuff. And around that, I think there's also been there's been a spoiler about you'll unlock one character through that little story mission. So I think when we get the DLCs, well, they have confirmed that when we get the DLCs that there will be a storyline attached to that. And then from that will be new war zones and new drop zones and possible raids as well. They did touch on raids, and they said that raids are something that will be in the game, but not on release. That's something that will come later with DLCs, and it will be like what we were talking about on one of our streams. It will be online content only, so you can only do the raid online in a party. You can't solo play it like you can with the war zones and the drop zones now. So which I
didn't know about.
So I thought that was a good thing, because that was something that you and I talked about. We had our concerns that it's all good and well having these drop zones and war zones, and you can play them solo or co-op, but there needed to be somewhere where we could take the gear and our abilities and our teamwork and all that kind of stuff and really test ourselves. So I don't know exactly the details how that's going to work, but they have said that down the line there will be those raids. So I hope that it's good. I do hope that it's good though, and I hope that it's challenging.
I think everybody that's put in either their $100 or $130 AU dollars they're referring to, everyone that pays that kind of money for potentially a AAA title game. Yeah. You would expect to get, we don't want another Anthem, or, we don't want a game that it's hyped up and then you get it on release day and it's just where's the content we're promised.
This game here, Avengers is being sort of talked about in being a lot like Destiny. Did you play Destiny?
I played the first Destiny on the PlayStation. It's there where I discovered it. I really prefer playing the first-person shooters and third-person a lot more on the PC. I didn't play it on PC. A lot of my friends play Destiny 2, and they love it. So,
can you from what you've played, can you see the similarities?
Yeah, not really, to be honest. Other than the fact that it's a third-person view shooter. I think you can play Destiny in either third or first anyway, but other than that, I can't really. I understand. Actually, I get there's a HUD or a hub, whatever its proper pronunciation is. And, you go into that, and in Destiny, I think it was like a star map sort of thing where you pick the planet, or from memory, it was like a planet or wherever you're going to land and do the mission. And this, it's the same sort of thing. Maybe the overlay to some extent. Yeah, maybe I can see a few similarities to Destiny, but you're not playing a shooting game unless you're playing Black Widow, really, at this point. In the beta, at least. So I wouldn't say it's even close, in my opinion, but to each their own.
Yeah. Look, I do have concerns over the replayability as well, in terms of, is it just going to be the same old bad guys that you're fighting? Is it still going to be the synthoids? Is it still going to be just the robots? So I think I'd like to see more villains. I hope there's more villains. I dare say there will be. I just hope there is.
Well, the way that they show off the codexes in this, I think in the beta they're showing you when you defeat a particular enemy, you'll get their codex card, and that goes into its own library sort of thing. That's like another thing you need to complete if you want to actually complete the game in its entirety. The fact that they're sort of previewing that in the beta, yes, there's not many there. There's only a handful of them, but I think
there were a lot of other folders that you couldn't get into.
There were a lot of folders, and I'm sure it'll expand as time goes on. I'd expect that it would. So.
Yeah, that's the other thing that I've got concerns about, and it has been is the gear system. I'm a bit of a like, when you put the gear on, you want your gear to change. You want the look or the attire, the aesthetic of it to change. And sort of.
I highly doubt that will come in.
I have concerns, that when you change your chest piece or change your melee gauntlet, I guess whatever you're talking about, we'll talk about Iron Man so for a reference point. So when you change your repulsor in the actual gear, when you upgrade it, it doesn't look like it's going to change the actual physical look at it, the look of it, which is all right. It is what it is, I guess. I'm not happy about that. I would personally prefer when you change the attire that it changes the look of that gear set as well.
I think there's a lot of people that are in the same boat with that. I mean,
this is where the issue with the microtransactions around the styles, I think, are. It's kind of forcing you to, if you want to look different, you have to buy the suit. Now, I have a job. I can, if I want to, I can pay for a suit as long as it's not too pricey. I'm okay with that. And all it's going to do is change the cosmetics. So if I don't buy it, I'm not missing out on any gameplay. So that is okay. I mean, they do have to fund the game in some sort of way, but the fact that they've done it in a way that when you put on a gear set, it doesn't change its attire. It almost forces you into the marketplace to buy suits. But
there are a lot of games these days that go into that avenue, unfortunately.
That's okay, but on the flip side, I must say it does seem like they've got like that. They do have that sort of like a battle pass for each individual character. So as you unlock them, you will get given suits, and from what we've seen in the beta as well, there's a different type of currency that you can get in game, and you can spend in game at different vendors for a skin. So I think we're still going to have access to a lot. It'll just be, I dare say they'll release.
But are they going to give all the best skins to the people that pay the money for it? Is it going to be, you want to have all the bells and whistles and have
but at the same time,
behind a paywall?
To each their own. Like if you and I are happy to pay for that, then okay, we are happy to pay for that, and it's only a skin. We're getting the gameplay. We're not going to be missing out on any characters. I mean, except for Spider-Man's going to be an exclusive, Sony character. Outside of that, it doesn't sound like you're going to be missing out on characters or anybody who comes in. So when Hawkeye comes, everyone gets Hawkeye, everyone gets his storyline, all the war zones, drop zones that come with it. You're not missing out on any gameplay, and I'm okay.
It's just going to be the skins, probably more or less.
And that's all that is. My only issue with that is that them not changing, when you change a gear type, it doesn't change the aesthetic of it. So that kind of forces you into the marketplace a little bit, or can feel like it forces you into the market. So, I'm okay with it, because I'm not the type to go, hey, I have to have that suit, but there are people out there. I'm happy that we're going to get the gameplay, the DLCs, and the added content. I'm happy that we're still going to get that stuff, and I understand it's got to get funded.
I think considering there's games out there like Fortnite at the moment that's a free game, that the only time you have to pay is for your aesthetics. But
it's not.
The thing is that is a well,
that's changed.
Okay, maybe it has since the last time that I actually ever. I never really played it, to be honest. But
yeah, so
I was under the impression that you don't pay for Fortnite. You just get.
If you
want to play and be skinned up.
You can play on the basics, but you get what's a free battle pass and then a bought battle pass. And when you buy the battle pass, once you go up tiers, you just unlock more stuff. So you unlock more stuff, your pickaxe and your suit and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
If you don't buy that battle pass, then you only get one suit every now and then, or you get, you don't get as much reward. You don't get as many rewards. Sorry, I should say. But what it doesn't actually change the way you play. It doesn't make you any better. You're not deprived of any content.
As long as these games these days aren't pay to win, that's the problem. You don't want people that could just play it 3 hours in a week and be better than everybody because they have money.
Yeah, it's not like the
and we're not going to have that.
No, well, we won't because it doesn't. It's not that kind of system. Like sports games, like NBA and all that kind of stuff. You purchase coins to upgrade your player, and that goes to their abilities. So there's none of that, which is fine. And again, they've told us that we're not paying for characters, so you won't have to pay for Black Panther or Hawkeye when they come out. You'll be given it, so that's all right. I don't mind.
It'd be interesting to see how long they can prolong this game in the sense of with the DLC. Is it going to be something that for the first, say, year, every 2 months, we're getting a little bit of extra story and a couple of extra characters, and this goes on for a couple of months and then stops? Or is it something, considering if they get funded through these skins and whatnot, that they'll keep going and it might last 2-3 years and then maybe an expansion? Or is it?
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see just how much DLC and how much extra content we're going to be given.
I personally think from what I have read, seen, and sort of research, this is a game that they're looking to for us still to be playing in 5 years' time with and giving more content and all that kind of stuff. So they're in it to give in terms of gameplay. They're in it for the long haul. They're in it for the long run, and they want to give us more stuff in terms of that. And they're talking that this is the type of game that you're going to be playing in 5 years' time. So if that's the case, we're in good shape.
If they keep true to their word and in that sense, then I don't think we have too much to worry about. I know a lot of people. I was actually really surprised this week. I was laying in bed after a big gaming session over the weekend, and I was just scrolling through my news feed on Facebook, and obviously because we stream quite a bit of Avengers content, a lot of other Avengers content came up on my feed. So I was just reading through a lot of the comments in a lot of the other videos, and I'm really surprised to see how much negative stigma is around this game at the present moment. I mean, I did see a lot of people that were praising the game, the diehard fans, but there are a lot of people out there that just honestly think this game is just going to hit rock bottom and flop. It's unbelievable. I wasn't expecting to see that much negativity around at this point, all after 2 weeks of a beta.
You've played way more betas than what I have. I haven't. Do you think that's warranted? Like, can people make that kind of assumption based on a beta that gives us just such a small snippet compared to what is talked about to be a massive game? Is it warranted? Can you make that kind of judgment based on a beta?
Well, there's been a few games in the past that they have had betas, and then the game's fully hit release like even a month later or 2 months later, and there's really it's Anthem for one of them in which
Anthem was so
it is the biggest probably disappointment that we've had in the last few years, definitely, in the sense of what we got ourselves hyped up for and then what we got in the end. But that exact instance there where you're in your main city and then you branch off and then what is supposed to be a big open world is not. However, this game in its defense isn't claiming to be an open world MMO or anything like that. It's sandbox, and as I said in our first video, a lot of people were complaining that it needs to be more open world, but I don't think this game needs to be open world. I don't think it's that kind of game.
Yeah,
it sits on the fence in terms of exactly what kind of game this is. You're saying a lot of people may be referring it to Destiny. They may good and well be correct there, because it is sort of hard to put your finger on what is this game exactly like. Is it exactly like a bunch of other games? There were people saying it's practically a carbon copy of Marvel Ultimate Alliance, just a little bit better skinned, but it's the same thing, and a lot of people were saying just play the original Marvel Alliance on PlayStation 3 and that's you don't need this. But it has been out for 2 weeks. If this is extremely expansive when we get the game, I think it'll take a while for me to give a good judgment review, because I'll be so into it for however many weeks until we've completed the game and we've done these missions. But then it all comes down to, am I going to be sitting there wanting to get home from work to jump on Avengers of an evening in 3 months' time?
Yeah, and ask me in 3 and 6 months' time if I still love the game.
Yeah. But I think that if they are sticking to what they're telling everyone they're going to do, like you've relayed on to me with the DLC and the free content and this and that, things like having skins instead of gear upgrades, like every time you put a gauntlet on, the gauntlet, say it's a black gauntlet, you got a black gauntlet, and the rest of Iron Man suit's red until you get the chest piece that matches, and then it's black. But then you're wearing red knee, red legs, black gauntlets, and a red helmet.
Yeah.
I don't think that's sort of the way that the game was intended was intended to be made.
I do get
They've
that.
taken some MMO and, as I said last time, Diablo-ish, World of Warcraft-ish. Games these days do take a lot. They pick a lot from other genres.
Yep.
Look at Borderlands, for instance. It's a first-person shooter that plays once again, very much like Diablo and World of Warcraft, where you've got your green items, blue items, epic items, this item. You're updating your gear, and as you upgrade your gear, yes, in this one, the skin changes along with the gear that you get. But there's so much cherry picking off all these different games. They've taken a bit from a lot of things and put it into this game and sort of tried to give it its own unique feel.
Yeah.
And what people's opinions are at the end of it all, I guess, as you said earlier, it'll come back in 6 months and we'll see exactly where it stands. We can only be hopeful at this point.
Well, I'm confident that the game is going to be fine. The beta has definitely made me want to play the game even more. I'm not going to lie, even though it's glitched out on me and there's been issues with joining parties and connecting. I'm
really looking forward to the storyline. I know a lot of people want it for the multiplayer, and I've got friends that don't play anything unless it is a multiplayer game because they just don't want to sit through story modes and single player. That's just not what they're into. So that's good and well. The multiplayer is going to be awesome, but I'm really looking forward to playing through the single player campaign at the start, because what we were saying even earlier when I was watching some single player video, which is playing, the game itself feels so much different when you're sort of playing in solo. When you're on the bridge at the start of the A-Day mission and you're flying through the air as Iron Man, you look out and your peripheral vision, you've got the oceans on either side of you, and you can sort of look around and go, far out, this feels like a real world. Whereas, yes, when you're in the multiplayer, I do find you're a little bit more confined. You are in that sandbox environment where it sort of feels like you're boxed in. Even in the outdoor missions, sometimes it can feel a little boxed in. Although playing as Iron Man, being able to fly up, I don't think that the limitation of his height and how high he can get into the air is an issue. I think it's just the overall, you sort of feel like you're in a bubble overall.
There was that snow mission that you unlock when you finish you do that final boss mission.
Yes, that's true. And that feels a little bit more open.
And you've got these different areas. There were times where just by sheer accident we were on the other sides of the map, and that was a pretty open area. I'm going to drop a few things on you that have been leaked over the last few days.
I'm excited.
They could potentially be spoilers. Do you still want to know?
Well, I think it's a good time to turn around and tell everyone that's viewing right now, if you don't want to know any spoilers,
if you don't want to know,
stop watching
look
here.
away.
But if you do want to know, like myself, because, I mean, as long as you're not going to give away the end of the story or anything like that.
It's not going to give away the end of the story. This is so we were talking about on one of the streams the unlockable characters and how that somebody pulled the code apart and found some potentially unlockable characters in the coding. And they found She-Hulk, War Machine, Kate Bishop, Hawkeye. Now we know that Hawkeye has been confirmed. We reckon that War Machine is all but confirmed. But there have been a stack of others that have been found in the coding. So do you want to hear
I want to
them?
know who potentially may be unlocked in this game, because it's still just a rumor at this point, to be honest. Until I see it, it's a rumor. So
Exactly. So if you don't want to know, look away. But if you do, or if you don't know, or if you've seen it already, please join us. Also, before I get to this, guys, if anything we've discussed tickles your fancy, you want to see something, you've got concerns or whatever, comment. We'll have a chat to you in the comments, and we'll have a look at it in the beta as well. If you've got something or a trick or a hiding spot that you found or something cool, some sort of reference or Easter egg, let us know. so we can check it out, and we might even do a quick video on it. But without further ado, here are the potential, I'm not going to say definite, potential unlockable characters. All right, so the first one that
lay 'em on me.
So this is all in the coding. So this is what's been found. Now we're pretty much Captain America. It was one of them. That's a given. We pretty much know that. Hawkeye was found. He's already been confirmed. Captain Marvel was also in the coding. There's a pretty high chance that's going to happen as well. Kate Bishop was also found in the coding. She-Hulk, War Machine, Ant-Man, Wasp, Vision, Scarlet Witch, Falcon, Winter Soldier. There was also Mockingbird, Quake, Marvel, Doctor Strange, and Black Panther. So to go along with Black Panther, there were also some things confirmed. I don't know exactly where. I think it may be on Twitter or a Reddit post about missions, drop zones, war zones, and potential raids later down the track happening in Wakanda. So we already know that we're going to go to outer space. We already know that we're going to go underwater. We know that we're going to the snow, but there's a very high possibility that we could also, in the storyline somewhere, be going to Wakanda.
I had a pretty big, a pretty big hunch that they would definitely put Wakanda, considering they open up that whole world map. Yeah. You'd think you've got to have Wakanda in there.
Black Panther, how could you not? He's one of the keystones of the MCU. It'd be silly not to cash in on that. Like,
it's one of the better movies, I must say.
Yeah. So out of those, who are you most excited to see?
All right, I'll make it quick, but I'll tell you who, and it's probably going to be no surprise to you. But I'll cut a real big story really short. Guy I work with, he's going to be playing this game as well. Hopefully, I think I've got him on board. He played the beta with me over the weekend, and I said, look, you need to get this game. But we've had this ongoing thing since I first met him. He used to work at a dealership next to me, and I used to work next door. We used to meet up at the lunch truck, and he used to say to me, hey, mate, that goatee makes you look like Tony Stark. And I used to have a laugh at him, and I said, mate, one day I saw him at the tuck truck, and I said to him, look, mate, tuck truck's just the food truck that we used to get at lunchtime. I saw him there one day, and I turned around and said, you know what you should do? You should come work for me one day. Come over to Stark Industries. I'll show you how it's really done. And funnily enough, a few years later, he's working with me now. So I always give him a little bit of a nickname. I always call him War Machine, and it's his nickname, and it's stuck with it. I'm really looking forward to playing as War Machine. He's very much probably going to play the same as Iron Man, but I just love the idea of the canon, and I love the Iron Man comics, the Iron Man content, everything about Iron Man I love. So anything out of that universe, I'll be really happy to play. But yeah, I think it'd be cool seeing him with a Gatling gun and maybe some missile. It'd be interesting to see how he plays anyway. But I'm looking forward to him. And I have to say, if I had to choose a second one, Doctor Strange.
Yes, yeah, we've talked about Doctor Strange, how he's just going to be different compared to everyone. That I think he's going to look. I like all of these characters. Like She-Hulk, I guess is going to be a lot like Hulk, but Ant-Man and Wasp, the ability to shrink and go bigger is going to be...
That'll be really interesting. I hope you can fly into the enemy's ear and then just go big. And then I remember when everyone was talking about that when the Ant-Man movie came out, they're like, I wonder if he's going to fly in someone's ear and then he's going to turn big and blow him up. I'd be like, that's brutal. I love it.
That's brutal. Let's do it. Scarlet Witch is going to be interesting. Falcon and Winter Soldier, they'll again interesting.
Now you said Vision was going to be
Vision, yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what they do with the whole Jarvis thing there. Considering Jarvis is such a big thing in this game, he plays as your main narrator, tells you what you're doing through the missions and all that. If he becomes Vision like he did in the MCU and in the comics, then it'll be interesting to see.
Different. I think it's a different version of Jarvis. Maybe potentially be a different version of Jarvis. I don't know, because we get the hard drive from
so many different universes.
I mean, who knows? Some of the lesser known characters like Mockingbird and Quake, I think, are going to be interesting. They could be dark horses. I reckon Quake has the potential to be pretty amazing to play with. But Doctor Strange is probably the one that I'm looking forward to the most. I think he'll be interesting.
Yeah, I think definitely one of the better character models too, just in the sense of seeing him with his big red jacket on, his big cape, like it will just look cool. And then having the portals and all the Illuminati style, discs going on and whatnot. That'll be really cool.
Gonna be awesome.
It's just gonna look really cool.
Being able to teleport someone sort of from one area to another, like a bad guy, if you can sort of get him in a portal and sort of have him flying around or transported somewhere.
It'd be cool if you could open a portal and then give him like the, how he gets hit the chest. Who was it? Banner got hit when he was Hulk, and it took him out of the body, to push him through a portal and then watch him come out another side. It'd be really funny.
Yeah, that'd be that
really satisfying fun. At that.
I think,
and they do base a lot of the moves off the movies.
They do.
So,
They do. I think Winter Soldier will be fun with that arm. I reckon there's a lot that they could do with that. I mean, you saw how brutal he was in the Winter Soldier, in that fight scene with Cap. In the apartment. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of punching, with some gunplay, I dare say as well. Yeah. Falcon will be an interesting one.
I think he'll be able to fly. He'll have a similar feel maybe to Iron Man again. The wings will expand and he can dodge and weave and do those tunnel rolls.
Potential for drones as well. Something different.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think you need to be able to be versatile in this game and have certain characters that play similar to others, sort of like having the roles. Like if you don't want to get over Iron Man or you don't need an Iron Man, you play as Falcon instead and get the same sort of coverage, I suppose you'd say.
Yeah,
You're going to need that in the game. You're going to need to have at least a couple of versions of characters that have certain roles and they sort of sit. You got your tanks, you got your DPS, you got your ranged, you got your this, you got your that, and have them in that categorized sort of thing where you don't want to have Iron Man and Falcon on one team and then have, say, another flying character as well, and then have no ground ability. You need to have balance.
You need to have a flight person. That's one thing that we worked out, especially in the harder content, the higher level content. You definitely can't be stuck just.
And they're good for scouting too, for loot. A lot of the time when you're trying to find a lot of the chests, when you're in the air, it's just. You can pinpoint things a lot easier. It's a good thing, a good role to play when you're in the air.
Yeah, I did like playing. I finally got to play Iron Man as well, which was great. I did like playing that role. I thought it was pretty good. I think I don't know. Captain America, Thor's going to be amazing. Thor was another one who was in the but he's definitely going to be. He's going to be in there. But yeah, so that's the unlockables. We're pretty keen. Leave a comment on who you think, guys. But I think that wraps it up for the beta review number 2.
We're 2 weeks away from official launch.
We are.
So
I don't know if we'll do one for next week. Unless
we get enough comments that people bring up enough content to talk about, I think we're pretty much done.
Or if we do play the beta and we've got some more concerns or we find something, we might do something. If we jump on, we might do a stream or two for a couple of hours and see how we go. So head over to the Brother Half on Facebook and give us a like and check out our streams over there.
Please do.
We just do this, talk shit and play games. So feel free to join us.
Talk shit, play shit.
Pretty much. But if you don't see us next week, we don't do a review after the next beta. We are going to be doing a stream midnight, 1st of September. Ash is going to be streaming that one. Yes, you are. We're going to be streaming midnight, so for the game. So join us for the kickoff. We're gonna be excited schoolgirls. I'm super keen.
Oh my god, I can't wait.
Yeah, but Ash will be streaming it. I'll be joining him on chat. I'll be playing my version at the same time. But we're pretty pumped. But until next time, guys. Push.